Climb stood in the hallway, observing the scenery outside through the overly thick glass windows. Renner had told him that she would be busy putting on makeup now, so that she would not embarrass herself, in case the Sorcerer Kingdom's army arrived before she could meet with her father, which was why he was shooed out of the room. She also informed Climb that she might even change out of the outfit she had on. Naturally, it was going to take quite a while. He looked back down the corridor, the empty, lifeless, and silent corridor. The knights who stayed in the palace till the end were all preparing to face the Sorcerer's Kingdom's army head-on. They had left their posts and gathered together to block off the entrance to the palace. Some might scoff at them for what seemed like meaningless resistance. Unlike the band of warriors led by Gazastronov, most of these knights were merely a smidge stronger than the average soldier. If they were to fight the monsters of the Sorcerer's Kingdom, they would probably be destroyed as easily as it would be for someone to break the branches of a dead tree. Yet, as men who had been knighted by royalty, they wished to display their loyalty till the very end. They had deployed themselves without complaint. The truly pathetic ones would be those who would dare mock them. If he was being honest, due to past experiences, Climb did not have much goodwill for the vast majority of knights. He had always thought that should a life-or-death situation arise, they would run away like chickens. Climb could not help but mock his own closed-mindedness. It was precisely because their loyalty to the royalty was true and without fault that they could not accept a street rat serving this close to a royal. Climb had made a severe misjudgment of their loyalty to the throne. He looked towards the direction of the entrance. Should he not be fighting side by side with the knights? Climb mulled it over and concluded that he should not. Back then, he was not saved by the royalty. The one who saved him was Renner herself. If Renner ordered him to do so, he would join the knights without hesitation. However, since she had given no such order, he should stay by her side. If he could buy even a single second to die before Renner, it would be his duty, his all. His life and soul have long been Renner's, ever since she had saved him. In this silent, empty hallway, Climb pondered about all sorts of things. He thought about his life up to this point, about Renner, about their hypothetical future, and... Climb looked around him. Of course, no one was there. The one who had served next to him, Brain Ungloss, had long since left the palace. He did not know where Brain had gone. If the Sorcerer's Kingdom's army had made its way to the castle, he was probably already dead. Climb mourned deep down. Brain was like a mentor, a friend, and a brother to him. He had taught Climb a lot of things and had guided him for quite a while. Compared to Gazef, Climb had gotten much closer to Brain. To Climb, who held Renner as the most important person in his heart, Brain was someone who came a close second. Why did things end up this way? Climb's whisper dissipated in this lifeless corridor. But how did things actually turn out this way? Climb had thought that their peace would have lasted, that things would be the same tomorrow as it would the day after tomorrow. However, looking at it now, suddenly, the doors to the room were slammed open. A loud bang rang out. Because the sound was more brutal than he would have ever imagined, Climb hurriedly looked towards the door to see Renner by the door side. She did not change her outfit, only a slight hint of red was on her face, light enough that he could not tell if she put on makeup at all. She had spent so much time in there, but her appearance was no different compared to the usual. In her hands was razor edge, still in its sheath. Did something happen? Just as Climb was about to ask, Renner spoke. Climb, let's hurry now. Yes. Renner said that phrase and ran along the corridor. Climb followed and asked. Did something happen? Renner stole a glance at him and looked back towards the front. Yes. I remembered something that had to be done. A mini revenge against the Sorcerer's Kingdom, if you will. That is why we must hurry to where my dear father is. We have to check if he is still in his room first. Along the way, Renner passed over Razor Edge to him. He followed her orders and moved towards the king's room. Of course, there were no knights there too. Renner did not intend to dampen her momentum, as she slammed open the doors to this room too. Inside was Ramposa III, shocked. Renner. What in the... After so much noise, it turned out that it was his own daughter. He must have thought that someone else had broken in. Ramposa III stopped talking halfway through his sentence. Climb felt that the king's gaze had shifted from Renner to him, so he took a massive bow as an apology. Ah, father, you are still here. I just remembered something really important. Renner immediately spoke. She had run her way here, yet her breath remained calm and steady. Climb was the same, but he was still curious as to how Renner, who he had rarely seen running, had the same level of stamina as him. Still, she had not run that fast, so it was probably nothing to worry about. Climb quickly killed that thought. Renner, what happened? Also, why did you open the door like that? I feel like these things do not really matter as much right now. Renner spoke a bit faster than she normally would, causing Ramposa III to smile wryly. Well, you do have a fair point. So, Renner, what is wrong? You mentioned that there was something important just now. Yes. So basically. Renner tilted her head in an adorable manner before she continued. Father, why are you here? I was locked in here by that child. Did you not know about this? Yes, it was Ani-sama. Ha, Zanak was an idiot to say that the two of you will go before I do. That child. Rampasa Ii's expression was full of sorrow. Everyone knew at this point that of the army they sent from the capital a week ago, none had returned. Though none of them knew of their fate, it was not too difficult to imagine the reason why they had not returned. And then yesterday, when I was finally released, I thought that we must make preparations before the Sorcerer King arrived. That is why I am still preparing here in my lonesome. The knights offered to help, but I sent them all away. I wonder where they have escaped to. Climb could not bring himself to tell him that the knights were at the entrance, preparing for a last stand. Renner appeared to be the same. Speaking of preparations, you meant those. Indeed, those. In the direction those two looked towards were treasures such as the crown and many books. So, why Renner, why are you still here? Did that child not let you escape? That, is it not the same for father? I will not run. That child was just a prince. I was meant to be the one to shoulder that responsibility. Yet, that child, is that sword not? Rampasa 3 noticed the sword by Climb's waist. He looked towards Climb's back and then back towards Renner. The one who served you, the warrior who could rival Gazef, what happened to him? Rain-san had left this place to do battle with His Majesty the Sorcerer King. While I do not believe that he could defeat the Sorcerer King, he should have brought it along even more so than ever. Why did he not take that sword with him? Perhaps, with that sword, he could. I do not feel like it would be possible. After all, that is an opponent not even the warrior captain could defeat. Things have evolved into the way they are already, so even if the Sorcerer King were to be defeated, nothing would fundamentally change. Is that so? Indeed. That is true. If we could not push the Sorcerer's Kingdom's army back, everything else would just be meaningless. Rampasa 3 suddenly looked out the window and continued. As to why I am still here. I believe that I have the duty to pass on the history of our royal lineage to our conqueror. I must, as the last king, demonstrate to them our dignity. Rampasa 3 laughed as if he was tired. Well no, he was probably tired in actuality. Climb. Such is the duty of a king. Take Renner and run. Although it might already be too late, the palace does have hidden passageways out of the capital. The moment the Sorcerer's Kingdom's army makes its way into the palace, make use of those passageways. There is no need for that, Climb. Until now, the king's order and Renner's had never conflicted with one another. This time was different. Climb thought about it for a moment, and did nothing. He just clenched his fists tightly together. Indeed, Climb did not wish to leave Renner to die, but following Renner's orders was more important to him. In any case, if he really wanted to obey this order, he would have let Evil Eye take her back then. Climb. Climb. After seeing the Climb had not moved, both of them called out his name. The emotions imbued within their voices, however, were completely different. Father, Climb is mine. He will not listen to your orders. Indeed, it appears to be so, but Climb, if you truly are loyal, I believe that you should escape with this child. Do it, even if it only allows for the Vasil bloodline to be passed on for longer. If you escape with this child, as your reward, you may have her hand in marriage. Climb's eyes widened. This suggestion was really alluring to him, causing his heart to falter. To say that he had not fantasized about doing this would be a lie. He had even frequently thought about Renner to comfort himself. But he decided that his fate would be to die as Renner's shield. Well, the reward is certainly tantalizing, but it is far too valuable for me to accept, so do allow me to refuse your offer. As Climb spoke, he felt like he was throwing up blood. He stole a glance at Renner, to see an incredible smile on her face. Surely it was out of praise for his loyalty. Now then, it is my turn to say why I had rushed here. Father, please leave the crown to me. Why? I believe that we should not just hand over the crown, a treasure that carries with it our family's history, to His Majesty the Sorcerer King directly. He is the man who destroyed this country, so the symbolic gesture of passing on the crown must be done. Also, if things such as the crown continue to be passed down, the history of our family will be preserved. That was my line of thought, which was why I had retrieved these from the treasury. I think these items should all be hidden in the city. Then, we could say to the Sorcerer King, the items that signify kingship were all hidden inside the city, so if you destroyed the capital, you risk losing them all. I see. Perhaps this would be a good plan. Perhaps the acquisition of the crown and the destruction of the capital will become a dilemma for him. Although my life will not be spared, if this could help the people, even if by a little, it shall be done. Rampasa 3 took the crown off his head. Father, not only that one, but the other one too. I believe that the crown used for the coronation ceremony warrants priority in hiding. Ah, indeed. That is true. Also the other items father had brought over. The staff, the jewels used for coronation, and the national seal. Could you leave everything that is symbolic of the throne and the kingdom to me? After all, the more cards we could play from our hand, the better. Of course, that is fine. Then, climb. Could I trouble you to hide these items? Of course, Renner-sama. But, where should I hide them? Yes. I had discussed this with Ani-sama way back then. What? With Zanak? Yes, father. I actually got this idea from Ani-sama. The procedure for hiding these items had been planned out already. However, because he might have gotten the idea from Marquis or even, I felt uneasy about it. Really? That child had thought this far ahead. Rampasa I's voice trailed as he muttered to himself. His eyes appeared to have moistened a little. So, climb. There was this warehouse district that had been abandoned because of Jeldabia's attack. There is a small warehouse there. While Renner had explained in detail, her instructions were complicated enough the climb did not trust himself to find it.